fourth lightning round question, churn and burn. What strategies do you recommend SaaS companies implement to reduce churn and effectively manage their cash burn rate?
I'm going to give you a kind of a weird overarching answer here, but to me, it's an orientation towards the concept of ROI across the company. And
Hmm.
what I mean by that is, I don't, obviously when I'm talking about burn rate, right, ROI makes sense, right? You're going to evaluate any internal investment. Am I getting return from it? Am I not? See ya. Am I getting investment from it now or long term? Let's double down on it.
Mm-hmm.
Makes perfect sense. But when I say an ROI orientation, I also think about it from a product standpoint and how your customers perceive value, right? The type of companies that are always going to succeed and do the best are those that are powering mission critical workflows within their customer base, and that you could very clearly articulate the value that they're receiving. So whether that be, reduced revenue leakage, reduced reliance on humans for billing operations, reduced reliance or additional opportunities for revenue within your base, right? You need to focus on what makes your customers money and be able to help them see that you are doing that for them with your product. The other thing too is I would say, just not giving into shiny object syndrome is always a
Mm.
great way to make sure that you don't get having churn and burn. On the burn standpoint, that's pretty obvious, right? You need to make sure that just because something is exciting and new tech, and you got to validate that ROI before diving into it. But from a churn standpoint as well, right? When you're offering new tools to your customers, don't necessarily focus on just the shiny objects, because it's going to be those, sometimes boring mission critical systems that are going to be persistent and not have a lot of churn, right? I wish I had some more than anecdata on it, but as I think about companies with system of record, right, they're often 95 plus GRR. And when you look at tools that are more system of engagement or more nice to have, you often find companies in the 80s or even lower. So the more you can focus on driving what matters for your customers, then you're going to have no problems with churn.
Great. No, I think that's awesome. I will offer just one other broad strategy that I learned from Todd Gardner. I wrote about. It's called the porpoise strategy or the dolphin strategy. And the idea is try to get EBITDA positive every once in a while. Because when you get EBITDA positive, you control your fate. And you can, to your point, you can kind of pop up, you're positive, you can evaluate what are the options for investment, use an ROI analysis to inform it, and then you can go unprofitable as long as you have cash in the bank or you're setting up a raise, and you go after it, and then you come back up and you get EBITDA positive again. And I just think a lot of early stage companies get into a hole with regards to their burn, and then they get constrained by cash. You got to lay people off, and it becomes a death spiral. So the more you can kind of trim the sails so that you can float above and be EBITDA positive. And that's probably not true for the super early stage, seed or bootstrapped. But as you get into that, you're starting to take some professional money, is being super diligent about cash management and capital.
That's 100% right. And it shows up in valuation metrics, right? It's not growth, it's not EBITDA, it's that rule of 40 that really matters. And it's showing future cash flow. That's what investors are investing in. They're investing in the cash flows from your business, and you got to prove you're able to do it.